The album we're going to be talking about is from Thundercat, and it's called It Is What It Is. And this is the fourth album from the Los Angeles Jazztronica singer-songwriter. You heard of that?
Jazz.
Jazztronica.
I like that.
And his last album, Drunk, came out in 2017 to overwhelming praise, landing on several Best Albums of the Year lists, including mine as well. Apparently, this album is also dedicated to the late rapper Mac Miller, who Thundercat was close friends with. Now, I would describe his sound as an eclectic version of Anderson .Paak with like his free-spirited injections of psychedelic jazz fusion into the neo-soul sound. What would you say?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to describe what his sound is because there's like so much going on. So I'll just say yes, what you said.
Yeah. And I think the vibe is instantly set when it starts off with that song, Lost in Space, Great Scott, 2226. That's the whole title. And then it perfectly leads into Interstellar Love. And I think a lot of like transitions on this album work really well. Both tunes have like this relaxing cosmic feel with like the smooth jazz instrumentation and like his trippy vocals. And they throw some saxophone solos in here, which you haven't heard since like the 80s. And I love listening to Thundercat go off on his bass guitar, and you get that on the like brief semi-instrumental house sway. And again, like the way he segues from house sway to funny things, and he's got that bouncy, wobbling bass lines as he sings in his falsetto voice, and he's like drunkenly wants to party with his boo. Like I guess that's what the point of the song's about. First time hearing him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll let you go a little bit.
I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh, Thundercat, that's funny, like the show. When I put this on, I was not expecting this. So I was very pleasantly surprised. I thought the first couple tracks were really great. For me, it got a bit samey at times. It's good music to drop acid to, but at times it seems like that's all that it is. That like there's nothing really else going on there. So that's why I feel like it got a bit samey. But there were some songs that I really, really, really loved. And then some that I was kind of just like, yeah, okay.
Was the issue it was too short, or was it that it was an actual fleshed out song and it wasn't working for you?
I don't think it's because it was too short.
Because he has like about, I would say, 4 interludes.
Yeah, and it's just like a chorus of like 2 lines repeated, and then the rest is just like instrumental. But I liked those tracks. I think I really disliked Funny Thing.
What did you think of Miguel's Happy Dance?
I really disliked that song too.
Okay.
It just got annoying. Some of the songs were just annoying. I don't know if it was because of the lyrics or because of the and I like his voice, but I think that in those songs it really annoyed me.
Okay, well then I guess we'll get to the lyrics, because for me, how quirky his lyrical content is in some songs anyway, I think that works. Like like the Dragon Ball Dugrag song with it's so smooth and funky, 80s style R&B, puts that saxophone in there that we were talking about before. And he's like talking about telling this girl, like, you know, does he look good in my do-rag? And then he's like, he still manages to like sound like sensual when he says, I may be covered in cat hair, but I still smell good. And it's like, what? Okay. That's a random line, but all right. Wow. But then he goes from like subtly saying, I'm trying to get intimate, to like flat out, I'm trying to smash.
Yeah.
It's so comical. You can't tell me you sat there with a big frown on your face, like you didn't even smirk.
I mean, it's funny. I just didn't find it funny, if that makes sense.
Okay. To each his own when you talk about humor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I would agree with you in a way that, for me, this album sounded exactly what I was expecting, but I can't say the same thing for this song, I Love Lewis Cole, because I was not expecting that. because it's got the dream pop jazz beginning, the light-hearted keyboards, but then the percussion just comes in. It's like so fast. I felt like how smooth the instrumentation's going, and like the bass lines, and then how fast and punky the drums are going. It sonically still worked. Like it still meshed together.
I agree.
Let's talk about the collabo. Black Walls has Steve Lacy, Stephen Arrington, and the great Childish Gambino. And this one has like this mellow funk and soul classic R&B that you would hear from like Al Green or Teddy Pendergrass. And I thought Thundercat and Lacy complement each other as they trade off like their vocals in the verses, while Arrington brings like this like psychedelic vibe to his verse. And of course, Childish Gambino comes on the end and is great, but that's no surprise. You know, he can't do anything wrong. That chorus, when it comes in, it's like just so smooth. It's like a baby's butt.
Yeah, this was definitely my favorite track.
Okay.
Hands down.
Winning her back. If you recall Isaac Hayes' way of like having this grandiose multi-instrumentational songs, like he does the same thing on this album, like Unrequited Love. You hear all the quiet violins, you hear the backing chimes, and then you hear the song King of Hills, which has this like creepy organ intro, and it switches to like this bass-driven like late 60s smooth jazz song. Is that the Love?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought so. I noticed like the snare drum is playing in my right ear, like really quietly, one speaker. This guy has got the 70s production down.
Yeah, I really loved King of the Hill. Mm-hmm. I loved the chorus. Like it got stuck in my head for days.
That's a good sign, man.
Yeah.
But like what Caroline's saying, I kind of agree with because I was losing interest towards the last few songs. Mm-hmm. And it's not because they were bad or stale. It's just you're getting to a point where it's like you're not surprised anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of just like checked out by then. Like it was like I was coming off of the drugs that I had dropped at the beginning of the album.
Not saying you did actually.
Not saying no, because it was like a 37-minute. I mean, what drugs only last for 37 minutes?
I don't know. I have to say that so I don't seem like I do know. Mm-hmm. I feel guilty about that because that's when actually the Mac Miller tribute comes in.
Yeah.
I will say this. I hate the expression, it is what it is, because it's such a self-defeating thing that people say. Everyone says that when it's like, oh, like, you know, this job sucks, it is what it is. But they never say it when it's like something positive happens, even though it is what it is. Like if you're walking down the street and you find $20, you're like, oh, I found $20, it is what it is. You have to always only say that when you can't control things that are not positive. But I will say on that last song, he finally made me get the meaning of that from the first verse when he's like, I tried to make it work. My best just wasn't enough. That's what it means. It's like, okay, I get it. Thank you, Thundercat. By that point, were you already checked out? And
yeah, I was pretty much checked out. I don't know if it's because the songs themselves towards the end of the album are not as strong, or if it's just because the way the album is arranged, or just the length of it. I just feel like it really kind of peters out.
I think it's the first part, because I agree with you. The last few songs aren't as strong as the first ones. I think there's a lot of people out there that never heard this. I would say if you're into jazz fusion, you got to hear this album.
Yeah.
I think another plus about this album is that the last album was over 50 minutes long with 23 tracks. And even though they were like sometimes short like this one, you felt the time of the whole album.
Yeah.
I like that he had less tracks to make it a little bit shorter. So again, this album is perfect to play at your cookouts or to tell your grandpappy about. So yeah, I think this is an album you definitely can buy. What do you think?
Overall, I dug it. It was groovy.
Yeah. You cool cats out there. Yeah. Listening to this new cat called Thundercat. Yeah, daddy-o.
But I feel like some of the songs, for me at least, were hit or miss for different reasons. Like some of the songs, I really loved the instrumentals, but I couldn't stand the lyrics, or vice versa. But I really enjoyed listening to it. And if I ever do drugs, I'm going to listen to it again. So I'm saying download this.
Okay. I was hoping you'd like it more. I thought you were a jazz person, but
I guess I'm a jazz electronica person. What was it? Jazztronica?
Jazztronica, yes. But let us know out there if you heard the latest Thundercat, what you think of it. Tell us what your rating would be. Also, you can send us to us in the comments section, or you can send us an email. We appreciate all your thoughts.